Why doesn't anybody know about us? We're too busy saving children to tell people about it. We were in Belgrade in March of 1999, and we knew that going in there that NATO might consider military action against Yugoslavia for the things that they were doing in Kosovo, but we never really thought that that military action would occur while we were actually in Belgrade. During the course of the day, the radio that we had onto a rock station was mimicking air raid signals all through the day. And I had commented that I thought this was getting a little too much and it was adding to the stress in the operating room. Just after sundown, another air raid signal came on, and I'd had it. And I said, you know, that's enough of this fake, turn off the radio. And the Serbian anesthesiologist pops up from behind the drapes and says, that's not fake, that's a real air raid signal. And then the bombs started dropping. You know, we had this child open on the operating table, 10 days old, complex heart disease. I knew that if we stopped operating right, then the child was going to die. So I turned to my Serbian colleagues and I said, a lot of your countrymen are going to die tonight, but this child on the operating table is the most important thing to us right now. We have to get this child through and into the ICU. And after that happens, all of you can go home and be with your families. So we took the child to the ICU, and the child survived. And 20 years later, I get a note from the mother thanking me for not deserting her child that night and finishing the operation. She now has a wonderful 20-year-old son. You know, it's extremely rare that 20 years after you operate on somebody, you hear from them. And I think that maybe the reason for that is the special circumstances that surrounded this child's operation. I mean, here we were being bombed that night, and 20 years later, news stories written about that evening, and the mother sees it and contacts me. That's really unusual. And I think rather than just picking up the phone and calling them and reconnecting in that manner, that because of the travel schedule, I have a unique opportunity to actually fly through Belgrade. And so I think I'm going to contact the family and see what they think about maybe my coming and spending a day with them in their village outside of Belgrade.
But what began as an attack on military targets soon expanded. Schools, monuments, homes, and even the Chinese embassy were hit. At the end of the campaign, 11 weeks later, Human Rights Watch estimates around 500 civilians were killed. When I left this kid, he was 10 days old, because I left him on Thursday after we operated on him on Wednesday night. And as you know, we couldn't go back to the hospital. They forbid us from going back to the hospital, so I hadn't seen him since he was literally 10 days old.
Hi, I'm Luka Altaljevic. I'm 20 years old and I live in Serbia, in Belgrade. I never really knew that I was going to meet him 20 years later. Never knew that he would come.
Oh, 20 years I'm waiting for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.